You've probably heard why Red Lobster went bankrupt. Endless shrimp. $20 all you can eat. Customers stuffing themselves until the company bled out. Simple. Fat Americans eating a restaurant to death. There's one problem. It's not true. The endless shrimp promotion lost Red Lobster about $11 million. That's real money. But it's not what killed them. The number that actually killed Red Lobster? $1.5 billion. And that money didn't go to shrimp. It went somewhere else entirely. This is a story about a lie. Not a small lie. The kind of lie that protects the people who actually took the money while blaming the people who just wanted some shrimp. If you ate endless shrimp at Red Lobster, you didn't kill the company. Someone else did. And they'd really prefer you didn't know who. Lakeland, Florida. A guy named Bill Darden opens a seafood restaurant an hour from the ocean. Sounds like a bad idea. Fresh fish. Landlocked town. But Darden understood something about Americans. Most of them wanted to try lobster. Most of them had never been to a seafood restaurant that wasn't intimidating or expensive. They didn't know which fork to use, didn't know how to crack a shell without looking stupid. Red Lobster fixed that. Come on in. Here's a menu with pictures. Here's a bib so you don't ruin your shirt. Relax. We got you. It worked. By 1970, General Mills bought the chain. 5 restaurants became 50. 50 became 500. By 1991, Red Lobster had 568 locations, pulling in $1.5 billion a year, largest seafood chain on earth. In 1992, they introduced something called hot cheese garlic bread, later renamed it Cheddar Bay Biscuits. Warm, buttery, unlimited, free with your meal. People went insane for them. And here's what made Red Lobster different from most restaurant chains. They owned their buildings, all those locations sitting on valuable land, real estate that appreciated every single year, a safety net worth billions. For 30 years, Red Lobster was bulletproof. If you're over 30, you probably have a Red Lobster memory. Birthday dinner, graduation. The night before prom, wearing a rented tux, trying to look sophisticated while eating popcorn shrimp. Your parents getting cocktails in those little lighthouse glasses, candles on the table, feeling like you'd made it somewhere. It wasn't fine dining, everybody knew that, but it was special dining. For a lot of American families, it was the fanciest place they'd ever been. Those memories are real, and they're about to collide with something ugly. Red Lobster's parent company, Darden, is under pressure. Activist investors are circling. Same-store sales have been slipping for years. Fast casual is eating into the market. The hedge funds want Darden to dump Red Lobster and focus on Olive Garden. Darden's board panics. In May 2014, they announced a sale to Golden Gate Capital, a private equity firm. Price, $2.1 billion. Some investors are furious. They think Red Lobster is worth more. They think the sale is rushed, but the deal goes through anyway. And here's where things get dark. Golden Gate didn't have $2.1 billion sitting around. Nobody does these deals with cash. So they financed it the same way private equity always does. They made Red Lobster pay for its own acquisition. The month they bought the company, Golden Gate turned around and sold almost all of Red Lobster's real estate, the actual land and buildings those 700 restaurants sat on, for $1.5 billion. Sold it to a real estate investment trust. It's called a sale-leaseback, which means Red Lobster used to own its restaurants. Now it rented them. Let that math sink in. Golden Gate paid $2.1 billion for Red Lobster, then immediately got $1.5 billion back by selling the real estate. Their actual out-of-pocket cost? About $600 million for the largest seafood chain in America. And Red Lobster got a bill. Those leases weren't cheap. They were structured at above-market rates. Red Lobster went from owning hundreds of buildings with zero rent to paying somewhere around $190 to $200 million every single year, and those leases had escalators built in. The rent went up every year, forever. Golden Gate got their money out. Red Lobster got an anchor around its neck. It gets worse. 2 years after the sale, Golden Gate sells a 25% stake to Thai Union Group, a massive seafood company based in Thailand. Price, $575 million. By 2020, Thai Union has taken full control of Red Lobster. Thai Union isn't just an investor, they're a supplier. They sell shrimp, a lot of shrimp. And now they own the largest seafood restaurant chain in America. You see where this is going. Under Thai Union's influence, Red Lobster leaned hard into shrimp promotions. In 2023, they made Ultimate Endless Shrimp a permanent menu item, not a limited time thing, permanent. $20 for all you can eat. The math didn't work. Shrimp prices had been rising. The promotion drove about 4% more traffic, but every customer ate way more shrimp than the price covered. Red Lobster lost $11 million on the promotion in a single quarter. And here's the conflict of interest nobody wants to talk about. Thai Union, the shrimp company, owned Red Lobster. Thai Union pushed Red Lobster to run shrimp promotions. Thai Union was also the exclusive supplier of shrimp to Red Lobster. Every shrimp that walked out the door during Endless Shrimp, Thai Union got paid for it. Red Lobster lost money on the promotion. Thai Union made money on the product. The bankruptcy filing says Red Lobster is now investigating whether Thai Union had undue influence over purchasing decisions, whether the company that owned them was actively sabotaging them to sell more shrimp. Let's be real clear about the numbers. The Endless Shrimp promotion lost about $11 million the sale leaseback in 2014, stripped $1.5 billion in assets, and left Red Lobster paying $190 million a year in rent. For 10 years, that's $1.9 billion in rent payments on buildings they used to own outright. But which one made the headlines? Endless Shrimp bankrupts Red Lobster. You saw it everywhere. Makes a funny story. Dumb Americans eating themselves to death. Greedy customers destroying a beloved chain. It's a lie. A convenient one. Because if you blame the shrimp, you don't have to talk about the private equity firm that extracted $1.5 billion. You don't have to mention the rent burden that was slowly strangling the company for a decade. You don't have to explain how a shrimp company bought a restaurant chain and then pressured it to buy more shrimp. The Endless Shrimp story protects the people who actually took the money. May 14th, 2024. Red Lobster closes 52 locations in a single day. No warning. Workers show up for their shifts and find the restaurants dark. Doors locked. Lights off. Equipment being hauled out. Some of them found out they were fired from social media. 5 days later, the company files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They admit to owing over $1 billion. They have less than $30 million in cash. Workers start filing lawsuits. Under federal law, the WARN Act, companies are supposed to give 60 days notice before mass layoffs. Red Lobster gave 0. Donna Lowe, a worker from one of the closed locations, becomes the lead plaintiff. She says she was terminated on May 14th without any warning. Showed up for work. Got nothing. By the time the bankruptcy wraps up, somewhere between 2,600 and 4,000 people have lost their jobs. Hard to get an exact count because some stores closed temporarily and some closed forever. Red Lobster emerges from bankruptcy in September 2024. New owners. New CEO. About 544 locations survive. 100+ restaurants gone. Thousands of workers gone. And the people who extracted the money? Long gone. Let's run the final numbers. Golden Gate Capital bought Red Lobster in 2014 for $2.1 billion. They immediately got $1.5 billion back from the real estate sale. 2 years later, they sold a stake to Thai Union for $575 million, eventually exited entirely. They made money, lots of it. Thai Union took control, pushed shrimp promotions that benefited their supply business. When it all collapsed, they claimed Red Lobster owed them $4 million for unpaid shrimp. They got paid too. Darden, the company that sold Red Lobster to get rid of the problem, their stock has tripled since 2014. They own Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, the Capitol Grill. They're doing great. The workers who showed up to lock doors last May, they got nothing. If this story sounds familiar, it should. Toys R Us, same playbook. Private equity buys the company, loads it with debt, extracts the value, walks away before the collapse. Workers lose their jobs, communities lose their stores. Headlines blame something else. Amazon, changing tastes, whatever. Sears, same playbook. The CEO ran a hedge fund that lent money to the company he ran, then collected interest payments while the stores rotted. Red Lobster is just the seafood version. The equation always balances the same way. The money moves up, the consequences move down. Golden Gate Capital is still making deals. Thai Union stock recovered. Darden's thriving. The server who worked at Red Lobster for 15 years and found out she was unemployed from Twitter, she's the one who paid for this story. Red Lobster isn't dead. New ownership. A group called RL Investor Holdings, backed by Fortress. New CEO, a 36-year-old named Damola Adamolakun who turned around P.F. Chang's. He talks about making it the greatest comeback in restaurant industry history. Maybe he pulls it off. The remaining locations are apparently performing better than expected. He says they expect positive net income by 2026. But there's something that can't come back. The version of Red Lobster that owned its own buildings, that had financial stability built into the foundation, that didn't have a shrimp company pulling strings while collecting checks from both ends, that Red Lobster died in 2014. It just took 10 years for the body to stop moving. You know what survived? The Cheddar Bay Biscuits. They're still unlimited. The new CEO made a point of announcing that. Come to Red Lobster, ask for as many baskets as you want. They'll keep bringing them. Funny thing, the biscuits were never a profit center. They cost the company money. Every basket is a loss. But some things only work because someone decided not to squeeze every last cent out of them. Bill Darden, the founder, died in 1994. He didn't live to see his company get stripped for parts. Didn't live to see workers show up to locked doors. Didn't live to see the endless shrimp get blamed for something private equity did a decade earlier. Maybe that's a mercy. Next time you see a headline that says customers killed a company, they ate too much, they wanted too much, they were too greedy, ask yourself a question. Who actually got the money? Because it probably wasn't the customers, and it definitely wasn't the workers. What company is getting the same treatment right now? Who's selling off the real estate, loading up the debt, running the promotions that don't make sense? I got my guesses. You probably do too. That basket, warm, heavy, wrapped in the red napkin. Some things can't be extracted. Some things are only worth keeping if you don't try to monetize them. The people who stripped Red Lobster never understood that. The people who loved it always did.